I have seen nothing but the city of Buckeye in the news nonstop. Buckeye's growing, Buckeye's expanding, Buckeye is amazing. And I'm not so sure I agree with that wholeheartedly. Here's the thing, Verrado is in Buckeye, but Buckeye doesn't mean Verrado.
If you're not a genius, don't bother.
In this video, I'm going to break down the top 10 reasons I absolutely love Verrado. And I'm sure a little bit in between, I'm going to be letting you know how not thrilled I am about the rest of Buckeye. First, talk about the proximity. Where is Buckeye and Verrado? So Buckeye is located, believe it or not, just outside of the greater Phoenix area. In fact, from Phoenix Airport, it's 35 miles west. And when you're heading out on the only road that predominantly gets you there, Interstate 10, if there's no traffic, you're still wondering as you're driving out there, where am I going? Buckeye is the largest city in the entire Phoenix metro area. They actually had, let's just call a land grab maybe a few decades ago when BLM and county, and there was a whole bunch of things going on, and it was like, hurry up and grab the land now because the annexation rules are going to change. And the city of Buckeye went like this: I'm taking it all for me. So to be honest with you, although it is the largest geographical city, it's not the largest by population. Could it be one day? I suppose. But the way it's set up today, not only is there not enough water, there's also not enough city services, which means fire and police. We're going to break those down later in the video, so you're going to have to stay tuned. Oh, by the way, if you like what we're providing here and all my other great videos, please hit that subscribe button and share this video with all your friends. Your subscription helps us get the message out. But let's talk a little bit more about Verrado. Again, not Buckeye. It's just a city in Buckeye. In fact, it's not even a city. It's a town. It's a builder created community. In fact, the people that live in Verrado sometimes don't say they live in Buckeye. It's that different, guys. And so I'm really talking about Verrado in this video because I'm telling you, even this girl was completely blown away. And every time I go out there, because it's growing and expanding and it's becoming a real city of a sort. Let's first talk about it. It is truly, if you're looking for a little quaint town, kind of like Mayberry, and I hate to bring it back to that, but I am talking about the quaintness of this city. It will blow you away. First of all, the roads are all lined with beautiful trees. Different roads have different types of trees. We're talking birch trees. We're talking Palo Verde trees. We're talking palm trees. We're talking some of the most beautiful desert by design in the entire community, and it's nestled up right up against the White Tank Mountains. Visually, it's one of the most beautiful little areas that I feel is in the entire greater Phoenix area. In fact, I had a recent buyer reach out to us. They already lived in Verrado. They were a renter and they knew that they were looking for a very specific home. So they gave us a call. And yes, in a matter of just a couple of months, we waited and found not only the perfect home, but the most amazing deal for these guys. They came to me and said, do you know of any other areas that are like Verrado? And I was flat out honest with them. And I told them, nope. It is a gem of its own. Like, really, I'm telling you, if you don't mind living a little outside of town, you are going to love calling Verrado home. First of all, it is not a city. It is truly a builder-created community. And then they've brought some retail in, etc. So one of the benefits of this is they have this master plan community on steroids that delivers a whole lifestyle. It's not just parks, it's not just a pool, it's not just a community center. It is truly a life. There are people that cruise around in their little, ATVs, their Rangers, golf carts. They have amazing little festivals in the downtown. Oh my gosh, Main Street. It's not like a full Main Street. Like, it's not going to have everything you need, but it's this cute little quaint couple of little roads there. You're going to find pizza joint. There's a CVS. There's an amazing little coffee shop. There's outdoor patios. There's a couple of restaurants. There's a beautiful waterfall in the center of the town. I'm telling you, You just don't find HOAs like this. This is a master plan community, like I said, like on the world of its own. It's incredible. Now, let's talk about the homes. This is also what stole my heart. I just loved all of Verrado. I am talking condominium lifestyle. I'm talking townhome lifestyle. I'm talking big, ginormous front green grassy areas, kind of again down in that Main Street area. And then as you go off a little bit more, the burbs of the burbs, you're going to find these parks in the middle of every single community. So almost everyone, not everyone, but almost everyone is directly across the street from a little park. We're talking top parks, and we're talking swing sets, or we're talking a little sitting area, or we're just talking a gathering area. It blew my mind. Every place I went, I was blown away even more. They originally started building Verrado over 20 years ago. So there are some homes that might feel a little dated, but I have to tell you, I'm kind of now missing that whole Tuscan style, what everybody loves about Arizona, the browns and the tans, and it's coming back in. No more white and gray, thank goodness. Anyways, so there's resale homes in this area that start in the high 300s. It's unbelievable. Some of the smaller, cute little bungalow type homes, all the way up to $1 million plus, some of the most extravagant custom homes with mountain views, golf course views. I'm telling you, everything from a little beginning starting home all the way up to your final resting golf course premium lot $2 million home are in this community. It's kind of nice the way everybody kind of gets together. And here's the thing, there's so much new construction out there, but before you go to a builder, you gotta give us a call. Had another buyer just call me the other day going, why didn't I listen to Sheryl? You gotta work with the realtor, give us a call. That's what we are here for. And with interest rates coming down, now is a really good time to give us a call. Don't say I didn't tell you. All right, now jobs. In order to live, we're not talking all retirement, which, by the way, I didn't mention. Victory is kind of in the back half, if you would, of Verrado, which is a 55 plus community. And they too have like that next level of mega, oh my, blow me away retirement community. It is not like any other retirement community. Not only do they have like 5 or 6 builders, also you can still get golf course lots, you can still get mountain views, but the amenities in this 55 plus community, and it doesn't have the outrageous adult community fees that many of the other ones do. If you live in Victory, and I love their walkways, like they're just, I'm telling you, the beautiful desert everywhere you look. But I love that in Victory, you still have access to everything in Verrado, kind of down the hill, if you would. And then it's just 55 plus and the adult. So if you have your grandchildren or you're even adult kids, coming to visit, they can still access everything from Verrado. So you have double dipping, if you want to call it that, if you live in Verrado.
All right, double prizes!
But let's go back to the jobs. There's a lot of people that are working later in life and or are working from home. This is an ideal area, whether you buy in the 55 plus or in the, let's just call it the regular Verrado. There is great internet over here, by the way, and they have all kinds of internet choices, which is fantastic if you are working from home. Now, if you are working in a physical office, you're going to find yourself probably driving a very long way. One of the things Maricopa County does is they have these commute sheds, and they have different parts of the greater Phoenix area identified as different commute sheds. So when we pull up this Buckeye commute shed, and even though it does show like 6,000 jobs within a 30-minute drive, I have to tell you, that's nothing compared to the majority of the other commute sheds in the greater Phoenix area. Some of them, especially on the southeast part of the valley, you're going to find within 30-minute drive over 1 million jobs. So just to give you, again, that comparison, if you call Verrado home and you're not working from home, you're going to be driving quite a bit. And I'll tell you, Interstate 10 is not fun. It's probably the worst freeway that we have because it's an interstate. We'll talk about that later. So let's say you had a job that was 30 minutes from Verrado, but then for whatever reason, you were changing jobs. Does that mean you're going to have now a 45-minute or an hour commute? That's something you want to look for, and give us a call, because I got all kinds of these little tips and tricks that I want to share with you, especially when you're relocating, guys. It's not regular real estate. There's so many other things you need to consider, and I got my list for you. So you just got to give us a call. All right, let's go right on over to schools. I love this for a familial environment as well. I'm telling you, when you see kids riding bikes, every direction you're going, you see moms with strollers, you see people cruising around in their little golf carts. I love seeing all the children out in this community. Now, here's the thing though, there's only 3 schools. I'm sure that we're going to start to see more as time grows, and the school ratings are moderate to good. Let's take a look at that. The elementary school is top-notch, ranked 9 out of 10. So fantastic, no matter how you really look at it. The middle school is an 8 out of 10. Could improve on a few things, but honestly, that is still top-notch. Anything over 5 is above average. So really 8 is fantastic. Now here's where I want you to take a look at the high school. I love this. Do you guys remember Back to the Future and the big clock and then the kids come out of school? That is what I feel like is in this downtown area. I was down in the downtown Main Street area when school got out, and it was just kids everywhere. And I mean, it was so cool. That's all I gotta say, you guys. This town, it takes you back in time, I swear to God. But if we go back to the high school rating, if we pick it apart and you look at the college preparedness, they are top notch. Where they're not top notch is in their equity programs. And that has a lot to do with the demographic of the people that live here. In fact, without me saying that demographic, I'm going to tell you where to go and look up that information so you can see it for yourself. If you go to bestplaces.net and you type in the zip code, don't type in Buckeye, remember?
It's a favor, don't do it.
There's a lot of different parts of Buckeye. Buckeye is not created equal at all. Some of it's scary, just saying. So be very careful where you buy in Buckeye if it's not Verrado. I'm just saying.
Keep it real.
So the zip code you're going to want to enter in bestplaces.net is 85396. Did you get that? 85396. That is the zip code. If you type into bestplaces.net and you go on the left-hand side of the computer screen, there's going to be all kinds of things that you can look up, like demographic, you can look at population, you can even look at like the registered voters, like predominantly, is it red or blue? This is such a great website. Now take it like, grain of salt. It's not 100% perfect and it's a little outdated. And as many people as we've had move here to the greater Phoenix area, I don't think you're going to find any accurate data on any internet site unless you call me. Because we have all kinds of neighborhood data that's pulled up until just 30 days ago. So if you're looking for some really specific information, give us a call. Anyways, you should just give us a call.
You can do it!
Now here is where a few years ago, when I was first introduced more than a few years ago to Verrado, I was like, what do you buy out here? Here's the thing about these newer communities. You got to give it time to grow up. Right? Well, Verrado now is about 20 years old, and that is about the average to really make a city become a city. And again, Verrado's not a city, but this master plan community, it now has the population to support retail and commercial. And so until that's there, so first it's housing, well, it's jobs, but then you have jobs that have to be within a certain commute, right? Then you have housing, then you have schools, then you have shopping. So that's where we're at with Verrado. I hope I said that right in that order. Look, some shopping is a necessity and some shopping is, let's just say, enjoyable. If you are looking for your everyday needs, there currently is enough stores now to keep you busy. You have a Bash's grocery store right in town. There's also a Fry's grocery store just outside of town. There is a whole Verrado marketplace that is in the works right now. We just recently saw addition of a couple of great restaurants. There's a Dutch Brothers there. There is a cold beer and cheeseburgers restaurant. Ooh, that You know when you made it when you have a cold beer in your town. But they also just announced that they are going to be breaking ground just south of Interstate 10 with a brand new shopping area called Roosevelt Commons. So as you're driving into town, like for instance in the Goodyear area, which right now is the closest bigger shopping to Verrado, so you're going to start to see stores like Target, Ross, some smaller other restaurants. I think Sombreros, which is a local Mexican restaurant. And there, by the way, within a couple of miles of Verrado in almost every direction, there is plentiful Mexican food, homemade tacos, ceviche. I'm telling you, some of the best Mexican food, little stops right outside of Verrado. But another thing that's really been fantastic for Verrado is Costco. Just recently opened up right at Verrado Way and Interstate 10. And this Costco will eventually be busy, but I have to tell you, I stopped by there the other day and it was magical. For a Costco, there was no lines, super clean, wide open space. Everybody was cheerful because there was no crowds. I'm telling you, rarely do you see this in a Costco, right? So we are now at that point where Verrado is 20 years old. The population has really expanded, and even other parts of Buckeye are starting to see more housing. And so now we are going to start to see that retail. We first will see the big box stores that you do consistently see in the greater Phoenix area. And that's what's coming next. So Verrado, if you can right now manage with what is currently there, and stand to drive a good 20 minutes to anything else you need right now. So for instance, if Whole Foods is on your list of must-haves, I'm sorry, but there's not Whole Foods really on the western part of the greater Phoenix area. Trader Joe's? Nope, we don't have those nearby either. What about Home Depot? Again, 20-30 minute drive, depending on where you're tucked into in Verrado, because here's one of, again, the great things about Verrado. It's a slower pace of life. People are not doing 65 miles an hour. You're driving through town, whether it's on the main drag or in the neighborhoods, you're going somewhere between 25 and 40 miles an hour. So you're definitely going to have a lower stress level too. We didn't even talk about that. Let's talk about entertainment. Like, what is there to do in town aside from all these cute little parks and riding your bike? Well, let's first start with the White Tank Mountains. This girl is a huge hiker, and I have to tell you, there are so many trails. I don't ride the bicycles because I like my teeth. But for those of you who do, there's a lot of bike trails. There's walking trails. There is camping up this way too. So if you want to go camping only like a half an hour from your house, that's kind of cool for the kids, right? The star watching. Oh my gosh. There's a, here's a little trick too. If you join REI here, they have all these like night gazing kind of field trips that you can do. I'm telling you, there's all kinds of great things that you can do with the Parks and Recreation system, and also introducing the desert to the kids. I love that. And when you live in these more remote areas up against the mountains, there's so many things to learn about our beautiful desert. Let's talk about, how about golf? A lot of golfers moving to Arizona, right? But we have 2 golf courses specifically in Verrado right now. There's the Founders Course and also currently the Victory. Both are amazing courses, but Victory at some point will be a private course. So I would say they're probably about halfway sold out. And as soon as they get their full membership, they'll be closing it up. So you're going to want to take full advantage of that over the next few years, maybe 4 or 5. Is my anticipated, like when we might see a closeout of that golf course. But there is a ton of other golf courses on the west part of the valley. You got to hit the Wigwam. I'm telling you, Goodyear and Litchfield Park, you're right outside of these areas. So it's just a hop and a skip for golf. Now, for entertainment, there's all kinds of local things like I've already covered, like the parks and the library and the community center and swimming pool and the splash pad for the children. But what about adults? There is a super cute little fair that they have down on Main Street. But if you're looking for the big brouhaha, like the major entertainment kind of thing, you're going to be driving into what we call Westgate Center. Westgate, I remember when they were building there too, and I was like, what's this? New York Times Square kind of thing? It is outrageous. This is also where the Cardinals play. We have spring training. You have a couple of different fields, actually not too far from Verrado. But you're going to also have all kinds of concerts and home shows and gun shows and tattoo shows and flower shows. You have outlet shopping. You have casinos, more concerts. And I always like the little wine bars or the bars inside the casino where they just have like one lady singing everything. Like, it's super cool. And it's within close proximity to Verrado. So there is a lot of things near Verrado. Oh my gosh.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Tongue twister. There is a lot of things near Verrado, but inside Verrado, you're going to be talking more about those community amenities, the golf, and the outdoor wilderness, which for me is like, all right, that's a good stuff. Proximity can be a negative for many. If you're using, when some people are like, oh, it's out so far. And I'm like, well, out so far from where? To the greater Phoenix area, yeah, it's far out west. But proximity to maybe someone that lives and works in California right now, and they're looking for a better tax break, but not to live all the way in the greater Phoenix area, this would be a great opportunity. It's only about 40 minutes to the airport. Again, you're relying heavily on that Interstate 10. Gosh, let's talk about that. Interstate 10 is a nightmare, guys. It goes from California to Florida. It gets bottlenecked in LA. I'm sure it gets bottlenecked other places too. But here's the great thing. They're building offshoots from the Interstate 10. I always say the in front. I have no idea why. But the 303 is going to bring anybody that goes north, get them off of that Interstate 10. And the 303 South extension is also. So as these major outlets or other freeway systems provide different direction for drivers, the only thing that's really left are the semi-trucks. Oh, they scare the heck out of me. Oh my God, when you're driving down the road and you're in the middle and they're like on both sides of you. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's a little intimidating. But here's another great thing that's happening in the greater Phoenix area. There is an Interstate 11. Interstate 11 is going to be, as it relates to the greater Phoenix area, it's going to be bringing truck drivers from the Tucson area up to Las Vegas by going around the greater Phoenix area. So we are going to, once that 11 opens up, we're going to see that bottleneck traffic from the state to state traffic circumvent the city of Phoenix. And it's going to make Verrado feel more close in because now we're not going to have to deal with the traffic. So there is good news ahead. Now let's talk about water. That's a big deal in Arizona. And I'll tell you, what you've been seeing on any kind of national headlines has pretty much been focused around Buckeye. And let me tell you kind of what it is. So if we go back 20 years when we did not have a drought, or we didn't know we were in the beginning of one, there was a talk of an area that they were going to develop in Buckeye called Douglas Ranch. And Howard Hughes Corporation bought this land, and they talked about this mega city, very much like what Verrado is doing, but Verrado was much closer in. Douglas Ranch, now called Teravalis, is way farther out. Okay, did I mention that Verrado is 35 miles outside of the Phoenix area? Now go another 15 miles on Interstate 10. I am telling you, it is like you're almost at the beach. Like, I feel like you're at the beach, which, by the way, Verrado is only 5 hours from San Diego.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
So now you're 50 miles, 50 miles outside of the Phoenix area, and now you got to head north. And you're heading north, and you're heading north, and you're heading north. And you see nothing. Not only do you not see anything except for power towers, it's not beautiful desert. This side of the White Tank Mountains is probably why they're like developing it, because it's nothing else. It's not beautiful. And this is where they're building Teravalis. And when they started talking about Teravalis, they were going to be using they were solely relying on groundwater. Well, over the 20 years, that's why it's been dragged out. and they still haven't built a home yet, I should say. They did break ground almost 2 years ago, when we had a different governor, and they got the green light. Yes, you guys can move ahead. They did not get their water certificate. So now that we have a new governor in place, and now we're many years past, still again, we're not plentiful in water. The last couple of winters have been extremely helpful, but it doesn't fix a 20-year problem. So the current governor is saying, not so fast. Like, you can continue to build the hard corners, the curbs, the commercial buildings, etc., but no single-family home certificates will be provided until they are able to provide water to support those homes. It has to come from 3 different sources. No longer can they rely solely on one, which was groundwater, and there is not currently an aquifer underneath. So surface water, aqueducts, it'll be interesting to see what happens. They claim they will be breaking ground at that community on new homes in 2025, but this girl thinks it's going to be delayed again. So it goes back to Verrado is green light. It has the necessary water supply, which is a minimum requirement of 3 different water sources and a minimum of 100 years of backup water supply. So Verrado, you're doing okay. The rest of Buckeye, not so much. So when you just see the word Buckeye, remember this video, this girl's telling you, there's a difference. Number 9 is hospital medical care. Nothing directly in Verrado just yet. There are some urgent care centers. There's many medical facilities there. If there's an emergency that arises, they have the medical care on site. But if you're looking for a full-fledged hospital, if you're going to have a baby, if you're going to have some minor surgery and things like that, you're going to be popping on into the greater Phoenix area, which again, for something like that, being 35 miles away, you will have a plethora of choices. For emergency purposes, the closest one is going to be about a 15-20 minute drive, and that is the Abrazo West Campus. And if I said that wrong, guys, I'm sorry. Abrazo. I don't belong to that medical organization, so I don't know. But that is the closest hospital, and again, it's only about 15-20 minutes away. Now, this is number 10. It should be at the top of the list because it's honestly one of the biggest accolades that Verrado has. It is one of the safest parts of the greater Phoenix area. When you look at where the national average is, where Arizona is, and where Verrado is, you can see why so many people like to call Verrado home. I'll tell you, there's nothing better than being in a community with people that care about each other. They work together, they work closely together to ensure a quality community, safety, great environment for children, and also for retirees, or how about everything in between? Here's the thing, guys, Verrado might be the perfect home for you, or maybe you need to introduce you to some other areas. I am working my list around the greater Phoenix area. If you have not watched all my other videos, they're all equally informative and fantastic if you're coming in from another part of the country. So give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Days, nights, or weekends, we got you back when moving to Phoenix, Arizona, and we are the source for all your resources. Until we hear from you, you know you need to give us a call. Have a good one. Be safe, be kind. Bye. Okay. If I didn't mention before, I feel funny asking for people, like, can you do me a favor? Hit the subscribe button. Would you, please? How about a comment? We'd love comments. Comments help us too. We love answering your questions. You got to ask them. And no, we really don't have critters everywhere.